Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
What's Firefly? What's going on?
We have to, because we're kind of low budge.
Yeah,
We're kind of low budge. So
we're
we
low
had to we have
budge.
to record in the library. And last episode we had to curtail it because some dude was going to come in here and cook his pad thai noodles. So we had to nip it in the bud and we had to
Yeah,
move on. So we kind of started talking about Trump taking over Venezuela.
yeah. I want to just make a comment about our situation for our listeners. Um, but we feel like we are on the precipice of
Breakthrough?
a breakthrough,
Yeah,
and we're very excited. And actually, you had a dream, didn't you? That
we were world famous.
which we kind of are because we have listeners all over the world. We actually have a lot of listeners in Singapore,
We have a lot
which
of
is
people.
interesting.
Well, what's going on in Singapore? This is the interesting thing. We have like way huge audience in Singapore.
Yeah.
And
Like 75% of our listeners are in Singapore,
oh yeah,
right?
well on RSS. So they're
Yeah.
using all those platforms.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rumble, I haven't really looked at it.
That's true. So actually we're on several different platforms. So I think like people who are following us on Rumble probably aren't following us on some of those other platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
We
whatever
like to
platform they're choosing, a lot of people in Singapore are listening. And I was thinking, Singapore's fighting for freedom.
yeah.
China is trying to subsume them.
Mhm.
And that's actually a perfect segue into today.
It is.
Because what are like if you look at like the gist of our podcast, it's we need to fight for freedom, human freedom worldwide. We talk about that a lot.
Right.
Singapore people might be like feeling that.
I know. And so I think they relate to us.
They relate. They're like, yeah,
Mhm.
because China's a gnarly dictatorship right on their back door.
Right.
We have those people from that country from 1948.
And actually I think that
They run China.
China has those people from 1948 too, but maybe they just don't realize it because China is like the front man,
Yeah,
you know?
because Chinese people don't look like any of those people from 1948. Like you
No,
can definitely tell them apart.
right.
But if you look at like so people in Singapore, check this out. Go look this up. If you're in Singapore and you're listening right now, go look up Mao Zedong. Remember Mao?
Mao
I
Zedong.
am Mao. And Mao Zedong in 1948, they show him right before. So Mao Zedong took over China, became a communist dictator, and like started killing a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like he was gnarly.
yeah.
And right before he took power, there was two of those people from that country from 1948, like flanked on both sides of him.
Ooh,
So word around the campfire is they went over there and he was their boy, kind of like Trump is their boy here.
interesting.
So Singapore, that country from 1948, rules over you.
Yeah.
So remember who the real enemy is. China is a puppet of that country from 1948.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to know who that country from 1948 is, listen to a few of our episodes. Bibi Netanyahu was the man there.
Yeah. Now it's Donald Trump.
Now it's Donald Trump. Exactly. So yeah, so we're low budge and we have to record in the library, and the dude had to come cook his pad thai noodles and use the room after us, which was so lame. So we ended up having to like skedaddle,
Yeah.
and we cut our episode short.
I know. But what I was starting to say though is I think what we're going to be doing this year with some of our improvements, I think along with our website that's coming, we're probably hopefully going to be getting a studio space.
We're going to get a studio space. I think what we're going to have to do is we need to get some revenue coming in from the show to pay for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, we've had $0. We've done 130 episodes, $0.
And they keep
Just out of love. We do it for love.
and we're going to keep doing the free episodes, but like YouTube doesn't want to let us get listeners so we can actually get like sponsors or
Yeah.
monetize it, and then we get flagged all the time because they say that we said something that like wasn't nice, and so they're not going to
Remember,
monetize it because they say that we've made like money from our viewers like listening, but
we've made
they
$7.56
but
or
I haven't
whatever.
seen any of
They didn't send me a check.
it.
Remember YouTube, they were like, you got no listeners, but a few weeks ago you guys had a Peter Thiel like interview, like you guys did a mock Peter Thiel interview, and you came out and you said Bilderberg was started by Satan in 1954. And I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to flag that, and we're gonna have to give you a fact check for that.
Slap on the wrist.
So yeah, YouTube is all over. So I'm thinking the way that we're probably going to be able to fund our show is to have our own website
Yeah.
and to have people go there and donate, or
Buy merch.
or you can get a members only jacket by joining and
Yeah.
becoming a member.
Yeah.
And we'll send you a members only jacket.
That'd
And
be
then
so cool.
if we go to Singapore and there's a bunch of people wearing members only
Wouldn't
jackets,
that be cool?
that'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how we're probably going to have to try to fund it. Then we'll get our own podcast studio. Then we'll be able to kind of like take our shoes off and relax and have episodes where we just fully talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But today, the pad thai noodles guys, he left. So we have the room now and
Yeah.
we can talk at length.
Yeah.
So let's fully unpack Trump taking over Venezuela.
Let's. So, what we were talking about in our previous episode was how not only does this it sets a bad precedent, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like we can just go into a country and just kind of like take over. I don't know if that's the best thing. And it's also kind of like the first step into one world government. Maybe not the first step, but it's a major step
It's a
because
major step.
now it's like, okay, so if we're taking over Venezuela and now they're talking about taking over Greenland also, what's next and what are the ramifications of that? Like, what does that mean? Like, are we all going to just be, is it going to turn into like one big giant continent, like in the book 1984, where they had like three continents
Totally.
in the world?
We're an empire, and America has become an empire. And the thing is that we're not even in control of our own empire. We've been colonized by that country from 1948.
Right. So
So
that's,
America is not America anymore.
yeah,
We've been colonized by those people from that country from 1948, and they are expansionist. They are trying to take over the world,
that's what's really
and they're
happening.
using America's military might to do it.
That's what's really happening. So we're funding the whole thing. We're funding them. We're funding our military. And the actual like big picture is that um, it's that country that's taking over everything.
Because um, the the American ethos is a constitutional republic, and in a constitutional republic, um, what I found interesting is that going and taking over Venezuela is a contradiction of the Constitution.
Hmm.
Because the Constitution says no decentralization or no centralized government. We want decentralization. So if you have a constitutional republic, every city has their own government. Every county has their own government. Every state has their own government. And then there's the federal government, and each branch of the federal government has checks and balances. So there is no tyranny and there is no centralized government, but we're moving away from that.
Yeah. And we're moving towards communism because what has been happening over the last, it seems like several years, but I think it's been part of a long-term big plan that's probably been happening over the last 50 to 100 years, is that they're trying to turn us into communists.
I have a feeling that when they killed Kennedy is when the coup took place.
Yeah.
So they killed Kennedy
And
because
that was,
63.
yeah, so that was over 50 years ago.
My whole life, I've been living in this captured colony.
Hmm.
Now, I think that they just kind of took over in 1963, and now they've been just slowly but surely tightening the grip of power.
And I think what happens is, when there's like these long-term plans like that, at first nobody really notices and it seems like nothing's happening. They're making like little small changes behind the scenes. But as we get to the end of it, to the culmination of like the big plan, I think things kind of start to speed up and everything begins to get more obvious. And I think that's what we're experiencing right now. I think we're kind of like nearing the end of their plan, which is complete communist takeover and actually one world government.
Remember the frog in the boiling water?
Exactly.
So the frog is in the water, and the water starts off being comfy.
Because it's kind of nice and warm like a bath.
It's like warm like a bath. So they just kind of chill, but they don't realize that the heat is constantly increasing, and pretty soon they boil to death.
Yeah. And maybe right at the very end is when the frog realizes, like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here, but it's too late.
It's too late to jump out. You've been
Hmm.
boiled. So we're at the point now where we got to jump out or we're going to get boiled.
Exactly.
We got to jump out.
Yeah.
And you know what it is people need to stop being politically correct,
Stop being blue pilled.
stop being blue pilled and politically correct.
Right.
Because what's going on now is if you come out and you say, hey, that country from 1948 is trying to colonize the entire world, people go, oh my God, you're such an anti Semite.
Yeah. And
God.
that's become the um sort of, it's like the scapegoat kind of term that they're using, like to sort of shut everybody up, because it's just like everything else that they want people to be PC about. Like it could be any topic, it could be like transgender, whatever the thing is. Most people know that there's something wrong with these narratives, but they're too afraid to like speak out against them because they've been trained by the media that, oh, it's wrong, we have to accept this. We have to accept that you know woman is telling us that she's a man now, or vice versa. We have to
It's a
accept these things.
man, man.
Yeah, we have to accept that this is normal to have kids chop off their body parts and take drugs for the rest of their lives.
I
So
don't have to tell my mom and dad. I can just go to school and say, excuse me, I want to chop my dick off.
yeah, and we have to accept that it's okay that the school doesn't have to tell us about these
You
things.
need to support your son in that decision. Now he's your daughter.
Yeah, and I think there's like a lot of people, the libtards who like think that it's cool, like to go along with that stuff. But I think most people, like I was mentioning in one of our previous episodes, I think most people are not like one extreme or the other. I think they're kind of more in the middle, and most people know that these things are wrong, but they're too afraid to speak out and say it because they want to be PC, so they just go along with it.
Why?
And
Because
this
there's consequences to speaking out.
there is, but if more people were speaking out, there's more of us, you know what I mean? So if almost everybody was speaking out against these things and saying, that's ridiculous, what are you talking about? And like most people were speaking like that, then the whole narrative would fall apart. The media wouldn't be able to keep pushing that because nobody would be going along with it.
Okay.
It would be the minority weird people that would be like, what? I want my son to chop off his dick. You know what I mean? Like it
Mhm.
wouldn't be like, oh, we have to be quiet about this and accept it. It would be, no, you're weird and it's not normal and it's not right and that's child abuse. And
Hey guys,
communism
had
is
an
bad.
epiphany.
What?
What does Larry Fink say? Larry Fink says, we're going to drive behavior with
Hmm.
financial instruments.
Exactly.
So what they do is they say, go along with our agenda, or we're going to crush you financially.
Yeah. And they're very good at that. They're very good at
We're
that.
going to cancel you. When you go to TSA at the airport, we're going to search your bag.
Totally. Yeah. But like, so the reason why we're doing this podcast is because, um, like I keep saying, I think it's important for people to talk and have these conversations. And the more of us that do so, the more that people be comfortable with doing that and realize that, it's something everybody can do. Everybody can talk, right? So it's like if you just stay quiet and like go along with these things, that's how you become the frog in the boiling pot.
And what did we say? Those people who go along, see, this is Satan.
Hmm.
Satan is the one who's orchestrating this because those people from that country from 1948, they're ruled by Satan.
Exactly.
So, what happens with those people who align themselves with Satan? What have we talked about?
It doesn't go well for them.
They get what's coming to them.
Yeah,
So it's not going to go well for them. So you might as well get on board with the winning team because we're
exactly.
moving forward in a different way. What we need to do now, let's talk white pill.
White pill.
What does white pill do? So like so Trump just went down and he just went he set a precedent by saying the people from that country from 1948 who rule me, they don't like Maduro ruling anymore, so we're just going to go kidnap him and his wife, and we're going to put in our puppet. And they've set a precedent and said that, basically we determine who rules your country. So there's no more autonomy, there's no more sovereignty, right?
Well, supposedly. So I'm not really totally sure that that's what happened.
What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, the vice president of that country is still in power. So now she's going to be running the same regime as he was running. I mean, that seems a little bit like some loose ends that didn't get tied,
Maybe
right?
Maduro kind of like did like Elon Musk. Remember Elon Musk threw Bono under the bus
Yeah,
and Satan got mad?
yeah.
What if Maduro did something like that? He got too big for his britches down there.
Or what if the whole thing is just a big show? What if, like,
It's all fake.
what if it's all fake?
It's all fake, and
And
we've been running that the whole time.
yeah, but the epiphany that I had was this whole thing could just be some big dramatic event that was like staged for the world to like have their opinions about. Like, they said that, oh, the helicopters were able to come in and nobody noticed because they had the planes flying over at just the right time to sort of drown out the noise. And I'm like,
A likely
that
story.
doesn't sound really believable to me. Like,
There's satellites everywhere.
maybe in like a Tom Cruise movie or something that would fly, but I just don't see how that's going to actually like work in real
Oh, did you
life.
hear about Tom Cruise?
No, we'll talk about him in a minute.
Okay.
But so what if this whole thing was just a stage dramatic thing to make it look like we went in and Trump is like this hero or a villain, depending on which side you're on, and we like pluck the leader out of the country, but we actually leave the like vice president there. So I'm not really sure if that's completely cleaning house. And we create this whole huge thing, but what's actually really happening in real life, behind the scenes, is that those people from that country from 1948 are just like actually taking over everything. But it's going to look like America is coming to the rescue of the Venezuelan people and removing the
We're
dictator.
fighting communism.
Meanwhile, we're welcoming it in our country.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
like that's the blaring contradiction. The
hmm
glaring or blaring? Glaring.
glaring.
It's a glaring contradiction. Um, the glaring contradiction here is why are we going down to Venezuela to get rid of communism when we got Gavin Newsom right here in our home state?
Yeah, and then the other guy in New York, who's the governor of New York right now?
Madani or
Well,
what's his name? It's like
it
Madani.
it
He's a third world barbarian.
so like basically he's turning New York into a communist state.
We're going to go with socialism. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if
they call it socialism.
what about when you land at LaGuardia now as a woman? You have to put on a beekeeper's outfit.
I'll be searched for sure. I get searched every time. So I just went on a trip just a week ago, and flew across the country there and back, and I was randomly selected both directions as the random person to search
Well,
out
because
of everybody, and I get searched every time.
Palantir is real,
Hmm.
and Palantir is probably global.
They're like the Indian dudes are like beep beep beep. Here comes
Palantir, what do
Butterfly.
they do with Palantir? Palantir is this global surveillance system where they surveil everything that you do, and then they build a profile on you, and then they give you a score.
Yeah.
Now, in America, they haven't been able to finally just get to the point where they can just kill you.
Yeah.
They still have to kind of play this game, but what they can do is lock you up for some stupid reason,
Yeah.
get you into this corrupt justice system that we have.
Exactly, and make your life miserable. And, good thing I'm like a pretty clean, like follow the rules type of
Yeah,
person. So
yeah, right.
they've gotten, but like eventually they might be like, let me see your cell phone. And then they'll start reading like text messages like between you and me. And we're talking about like our
Did
episodes
you
and what
say
we,
something bad about that country from
they're like,
1948?
no, no,
You
no.
come this way to the
That's
back room.
that's illegal. They'll see the videos that we send each other about like all the, horrors that are going on in the
And
world.
that's what's going on. So they're making it so that you're terrified to speak out
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to have consequences.
Have you heard about the surveillance system that is in place on most of the freeways now, where they're taking like thousands of pictures per minute of all the license plates, and they can basically spot and identify at any given moment like who's driving where, so they
Yeah.
know where you are.
So that country from 1948 and our CIA created Palantir.
Mhm.
Why would they create Palantir? Because they're trying to take over the world. And the way that they're trying to take over the world is from top down micromanagement
Yeah.
and surveillance. And they're expanding.
Mhm.
They're doing like the Greater Israel Project, where we're building a new canal. And by the way, these people in Gaza are kind of in the way, so we're just going to go ahead and exterminate them. But nothing is. You notice
Yeah.
how that extermination takes place every day,
Yeah.
and we've kind of gotten to the point now. It's like nothing to see here. Just
Exactly.
more Gazans
Well,
got killed.
yeah, it's that is really a sad and disturbing thing, because all these horrors happen in the world, and um people are upset about them at first, but then it sort of gets forgotten, and you sort of get like numb to these things. Like
You do.
now, like when you see like a transfusion, like transgender, person that's chopped off their body, you're just kind of like, whatever. You see somebody with tattoos all over their neck and face, you're like, I've seen 10 of those today. It's like you get numb to like the all the crazy bad stuff, you
You
know?
get numb to it, but that's something we have to fight against
I know.
because if you just kind of come to accept it, it's kind of a black pill.
It is.
So let's talk white pill for
White
this
pill.
episode.
White pill.
Okay, so what I think is white pill is we need to build alternative systems.
Yes, exactly.
So we need to have a system that's completely free of this Palantir surveillance system. We need to have media like an alternative media, a real alternative media, not
Mhm.
like these controlled opposition clones.
Right.
We need to have a real alternative media where people can find an audience in a very organic way and say stuff that goes against these colonizers. That's what they are. They're
Yeah,
colonizers.
and what you're saying will be heard because there won't be any censorship,
No
you know?
censorship, no surveillance, and you can reach your audience. So that's going to take people because we have more than them. We outnumber them. Like here in the United States, those people from that country from 1948 only comprise like 2% of the population.
Hmm.
So there's no reason that they should have a stranglehold on us other than what's the word that you love to use? Acquiescence.
Mhm.
Because you know what it is? Remember, my name is James O'Keefe. And I'm James O'Keefe and I'm doing exposés. But he's total culture club.
Mhm.
He's acquiesced. But he did this one interview with the FBI guy, remember? And he was like, if you know that the FBI is corrupt, why don't you come out and do like a whistleblow against the people in the upper echelon of the FBI. And they're like, well, I have two Teslas. I've got a mortgage. My daughters are both in college, and my wife will leave me. So I can't do that. And I think that's what's happening
That's what's
is
happening a lot.
so we're not creating this alternative because everyone's just like, well, the safe play is to just align myself with Satan.
Yeah. I mean, look at how many people during the Cooties fiasco um talked about like how they knew like the pokey pokes were bad and they were wrong, but I'm just gonna get it because of my job. I gotta get it because of my job. And it's like, So you know it's wrong and
Oh,
you know it's
Tiffany.
dangerous, but you're just gonna go ahead and do it?
I just had an epiphany too.
What?
What if, because the cooties shots rolled out worldwide.
Yeah.
And what we've kind of put forth is this notion that the cooties shots made people compliant. It
Yeah.
turned them into Sirhan Sirhan.
Yeah. Mind control.
Because remember, Sirhan, just to reiterate for our audience members who didn't listen to that episode, Sirhan was the one who was the patsy that got accused for killing RFK back in 1968.
Yeah.
But he actually didn't. What happened was he went into the hotel and the attractive big boobed girl, she was at the bar.
She was the honey pot.
She was the honeypot. And so Sirhan probably didn't get any pussy. So he probably went in there.
Clean
I'm
firefly.
sorry, he didn't get any
Girls.
So anyway, so he walks in there and she's flirting with him and
uh,
he just goes, "Oh my
I
God."
was so excited.
So he goes and sits next to her and then what does she do?
She flirted with him.
But then
Oh, the pinch.
she pinched him.
She pinched him.
And then he went into his disassociation, went and fired blindly in some conference room, nowhere near anybody. And then in the melee that ensued, the evil baddies, they went and killed RFK and blamed it on him.
Right.
But in order for him to go into that disassociation, the psychologists, they came to the conclusion that he had two character traits that made him conducive to that.
Right.
One of them,
He was highly hypnotizable.
he was highly hypnotizable. He was disassociative, which means that he could actually hallucinate that he's in a completely different setting than he's actually in.
Right.
But then he was also very compliant.
Yeah.
And I think that the Pokies might have made people very compliant.
Well, I think what happened was I think there was MK Ultra mind control happening in the media. The media was putting out messages that was terrorizing humanity and freaking people out and hypnotizing them with these messages about the cooties.
Yeah.
And so some people, I mean, you see some people are still completely like terrorized.
Paralyzed.
They're paralyzed with fear walking around with a mask 5 years later, like that this whatever it is going to kill them.
Because Peter Hotez, he told them to. Peter
Yeah.
Hotez came out and said, you should probably wear your mask and get your 15th
And,
booster.
and all those people walking around like that have probably had 15 pokey pokes.
Totally.
So the media completely like terrified people and got them to go along with this stuff. And many of them became compliant. So the media was the first step in compliance. But I think you make a good point. Like, is it possible that some of the ingredients in those pokes were something that could cause more compliance? I think that's totally possible.
You
I
know
mean,
what? They said that there's a calcifying of the pineal gland. Remember we talked about that?
yeah.
And the calcifying of the pineal gland might be what happens from the pokes.
hmm
And they said that the pineal gland is this kind of doorway to God. It's like your internal mechanism that allows you to have faith in God. And if you have faith in God, then you're not going to go along with this system. You're going to stand up for what's right. Maybe if that gets calcified and blocked, you don't even have that instinct.
Right. I think it's totally plausible that I mean, we know that they put mind control in drugs. And we've talked many times about the the the
Remember the one? No, the
suicide.
latest one. The latest one is the best. I was watching James Bond, remember, and I couldn't grab the remote quick enough to fast forward the commercials,
Uh-huh.
and just in the 10 seconds, it goes. Are you on antidepressants? Are you on antidepressants? And do you have uncontrollable body shaking? You remember?
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, they're creating these problems and possibly their side effects from the pokes and or other pharmaceuticals, and then they come up with another big shawarma to that you're supposed to take to fix that problem. But we like to talk about a lot about the suicide by hanging
Oh
yourself with
yeah.
like those antidepressants. One of the side effects is suicide by hanging.
And
So
that was so. Wait a second, but
so that
that's actually real. They
yes,
did clinical
that's
testing,
real.
and in the clinical trials, this antidepressant didn't just cause suicide in some of the people who took it. It was very
A
specific.
specific way.
They hung themselves from a doorknob by a scarf.
Well, we like to add that part in.
No,
I it
that
was
came out of the thing.
they were hanging themselves,
They were
and
hanging
but a
themselves.
lot of people were hanging themselves by a lot of the
Oh yeah, Chris Cornell used the exercise
a lot
bands.
of the high profile suicides happen to be from hanging yourself from a doorknob with a silk scarf, which is very strange. But no, the antidepressants were causing people to commit suicide in that very specific way. And so the question I keep asking is that, for one, if they know that it's causing that, why do they not take that element out of the drug? You know what I mean? But for another, if that like element in that drug is causing that specific behavior, is it not possible that they could be causing other specific behaviors in other drugs? You know what I mean?
That's right. And I
So
think, well, what I'm starting to think is the drug, the the John D. Rockefeller healthcare system and all the drugs, I think they all have mind control, and all of them are making people very pliant and compliant.
totally. So your point, which I think is really valid, like, is it possible that the people that got the pokey pokes um, are more compliant? I think that's totally possible and plausible. And like, maybe the more they took, the more compliant they became. You know what I mean?
So
So
let's take
somebody
that.
that's had 8 boosters is probably
Oh,
like
totally.
completely zombified.
They're going to do whatever the media tells them to do.
Yeah,
So let's take that phenomena
yeah,
and put it in the context of what we're talking about with Trump taking over Venezuela.
exactly.
What needs to take place is the American people and the people of the world, people in Singapore, everywhere around the world, people in Australia. Dude, Australia is gnarly tyranny. How about people in the UK? Or how about in France, where if you call Macron's wife a dude, which it clearly is a dude, like you get thrown in jail. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So worldwide, we have this tyranny clamping down on us, and you cannot go along with it
Right.
because it's expanding now. So Venezuela, Greenland, who's next?
Exactly.
Pretty soon they're going to get control of the entire world. It's going to be a digital prison, and you're going to have to either get on board or you're going to just get eliminated from the gene pool.
So what people need to do is realize that the media is not your friend, and what they're telling you to do is not what you should be doing.
That's right.
And
That's the white pill.
yeah, the white pill. Like, when all of that chaos was happening during the cooties fiasco, um, and I think the aftermath was, I think a lot of people did like wake up during that time, like I did, like kind of before that. But I think, you know, like, I think a lot of people became aware that the government was lying to us, the media was lying to us, and they became aware of, that they were being tricked. And I feel bad, I think some people, I don't feel bad for the people that were like, I'm gonna go get the pokey poke because I want to go on a cruise or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like like, it's bad, but you're still gonna do it. I feel bad for the people that like were like really terrified by the media and they did it, and then now they know like they made a mistake, and you know what I mean? Like I think that it's the media and the government did a horrible thing by, it was basically MK Ultra mind control completely.
Because what's
So
MK Ultra? It's
it's
trauma
trauma
based.
based mind
So they
control.
get you scared, and then instead of turning to God and praying to God, what do? They're scared, and then they turn to the
They
media,
turn to
and Satan goes, "Good, good,
yeah, they
good."
turn to the one that tricked them for the solution. So I feel like during that whole time, a lot of people did realize these things, but I think that people need to stay aware and awake. Like, okay, remember that whole thing that went down with cooties. Remember that. Like, don't forget about that because they're going to do that stuff again. Like, we can't, like, suddenly think that now like they're going to be okay and they're going to like be nice and everything they're telling us is the truth.
No.
I mean, like we talked about before, like the whole thing that woke me up was the um should I say his name?
Well, don't say his name,
Yeah.
then I get flagged, but we're talking about those people lives matter
Yeah,
in Minneapolis.
that whole event where
And
that guy
when
got like
that black dude got a fentanyl overdose,
yeah,
and the cops handled him with kids' gloves for like an hour and a half, but then
yeah.
they said that they killed him.
Yeah, when I saw that, I kind of was like, something's not right here. And then the
And then they
cooties
show you
happened.
a 20-minute clip of an hour and a half long episode, and
Yeah,
then they portray it in a way that uses it to their
they
advantage.
gaslight you. They say this is what happened, but then when you watch the whole thing, you're like, but wait a second, that's not what was really happening. You're telling me that it happened this way, but I saw the whole thing and I saw that it happened a different way. So
And that's when you got red
I
pilled.
got red pilled.
And then what happens when you get red pilled? Suddenly the scales fall away from your eyes and you start to see lies in every facet.
Everything. So I saw that and I was like, that's not the truth. They're telling me on the news, what they're telling me is not the truth.
Yeah.
So then I started thinking, okay, what else is not the truth? And then the cooties stuff, I was like, that's not true either. And
It was an avalanche
it
at
was an
first.
avalanche. And then next thing you know it, I'm like, we're not spinning on a ball.
We're not. That's right. And then, well, now what they've done is they've said, good, good, good. So now we've got all these people gaslit. Let's start to do our expansionism.
Yeah.
So, they pretty much are assuming that they have America in their pocket.
Well, and the problem is people go back to sleep. So
Yep,
people have the attention span of gnats. Like,
totally.
and you get traumatized by these things. And I think, oh my gosh, epiphany.
Epiphany, epiphany, epiphany.
I think like there might be some other form of MK Ultra mind control that they're doing on all of us that makes it so that we get traumatized by one event. And even if we wake up and we're like, wait, that's not what's happening, they do something to make us sort of forget about it. And then they move on to the next event. And so maybe we sort of forget about that other thing. And then we start believing what they're telling us now,
Yeah, because
you know?
now the shiny object is Venezuela. So forget about Charlie Kirk, right?
Right.
That's what it is. Charlie Kirk, we didn't really know what happened. That didn't look like it. Something was fishy going on
Okay,
there.
let's move on.
But now we got Venezuela to think about.
Yeah.
That's how it is. The news cycle is constantly moving forward. So you don't like if you think back to like 3 weeks ago, whatever was in the news 3 weeks ago is completely out of these people's
Oh
minds.
my God, another epiphany. So now also, it's like everything happens faster. The news cycle happens so much faster. So, like
Yeah.
in the old days, like you would have to go see a movie at the movie theater to see like headlines. They would show like newsreels before the movie.
During
You
World
know,
War II.
yeah. And then people started having like newspapers, daily newspapers. But you would be getting the news from like yesterday because they would have to be printing up the news during the night and delivering it to you in the morning. Now we're literally bombarded like minute by minute with news updates, like all day long
In your
in the
phone.
internet.
You're walking around with the news in your pocket.
Yeah. And pretty soon it'll be like just in your wrist.
And like, remember I brought up Tom Cruise? I don't even want to talk
Yeah.
about Tom
What
Cruise.
about Tom Cruise?
Well, see, I was doing was just trying to like open up a web browser, but then it was like Tom Cruise, and I was like, oh well,
That's
what?
funny because they mentioned him on the radio this morning when I was listening to
Well,
music.
so him and Nicole Kidman have a daughter, and they both didn't show up at her wedding,
What?
which is weird.
That's so weird.
Why?
I don't know. She's adopted. Maybe they don't feel like she's their real daughter.
I
Whatever.
can't.
I'm not have time to go to that wedding.
And who knows that that's not even real? That could be completely lies. But do you see how the media does that? It's like a shiny object. Here, focus on this.
Yeah.
You're a prisoner and we're colonizing you. See, at this point, I think situational awareness, we need to be aware that that country from 1948 has colonized the United States and is using the military to colonize the entire world because Satan has promised them the entire world. So we need to understand that that's the situation we're in.
That's the end goal for them.
And we are almost boiling. We
Hmm.
need to jump out of the pot. The
So,
frog needs to jump out of the pot.
I know you know a lot more about the Bible than I do, Firefly. But it makes me think about like some of the Bible stories that I've heard and isn't there like something in the Bible that talks about like how they want to rule the world.
Yeah, well, their Bible is the Kabbalah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's another one that they use. I can't remember what it's called, but basically the Kool-Aid that they drink
Yeah.
is that Satan is their god. And Satan has promised them that they're going to have the entire world to themselves. And everybody who's not in that country from 1948, they're all considered goyim.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can all just be colonized and we're like cows.
Yeah.
We can just be
We're just
used.
like animals.
We're like animals and we can just be slaughtered once we're no longer useful. So that's kind of their worldview. Now, the Bible in the book of Revelation talks about the mark of the beast system. And the mark of the beast system is when you have to get um, the mark of the beast or you can't buy or sell.
Yeah.
So you have to get it and it's in your hand or your forehead, which can be symbolic,
Mm.
but that's kind of what's going on now. What they're kind of doing is bringing in this mark of the beast system. And the mark of the beast system was the pokies. The
Mm-hmm.
pokies were one of the first mark of the beast. Like, if you don't have the pokies, you don't get to have a job or buy anything. Don't be
Right.
going to the grocery store or anything. So that, but they tried to pull that off, but they didn't fully get that going on. But now what they're trying to say is genuflect to the cult or you don't get to buy or sell. And if they, like that's what Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, he's like, we're going to drive behavior with financial instruments.
Yeah.
That's the mark of the beast system. You have to join and you have to genuflect to it, or you don't get to buy or sell
And that's what the digital currency system
the
is.
digital, but that's not in place yet. What people in Singapore have to recognize, you're not a slave yet. We are close. We're close, but we're not slaves yet. What's the white pill? We need to be aware
Mm-hmm.
and we need to start taking immediate action to form alternative economies,
Yeah.
alternative platforms, alternative media, alternative healthcare system.
And we need to support those systems. So, when we go into a business that says we don't take cash, you tell them you don't do business there and you tell them why. You don't just I mean, it's okay to use your card to pay for stuff, but those businesses should also be taking cash. And if they don't, you don't do business with them.
That's right. And what we have to remember is that we can take the power back from
Exactly.
these people.
Yeah, because so for example, I was just at a place where that happened and um the person at the counter had this whole spiel ready to go about my complaint about it. And so obviously I knew I was not the first person to say that that was wrong, you know?
Yeah,
And the my point was that if you know 25 people a day went into that business and told them that they were going to refuse to do business because of that, they would have to change their ways.
exactly.
They would be losing too much business. But the problem is too many people go along with it and they're like, okay,
So what's the white pill? If Starbucks is on every corner and they say no, no cash, because pretty soon I could see Starbucks totally
I
saying
could
no
you
cash.
know what? Oh my gosh. That's an
So
epiphany
then,
because
what's the white pill?
they're a
They're
huge
huge. So
company.
then, what's the white pill? The white pill is start your own coffee company,
Mhm.
have tastier goodies, and say cash only.
Well, and also, but here's another white pill because I could totally see that coming with Starbucks because just how all the big corporations were ruling the whole situation during cooties and the airlines and all those other ones had all these strict rules and things. I could see Starbucks saying no cash. And I could see the whole world just going along with it because, first of all, so many people are addicted to their coffee
Much mind control in
and their
there.
star yeah, and they're addicted to their Starbucks and they don't mind paying, $6 or $7 for their latte every day. Um, so they're just going to go along with it and that's going to be how they control this situation because actually I don't think the government can force these things, but corporations can.
Total.
And when you have a corporation like Starbucks that's everywhere and so many people are addicted to it, if they start saying, we don't take cash anymore, how many people are going to reject that? So the white pill here is you have to reject these things.
You got it.
If one or two or five people go into a Starbucks a day and say we're not going to do it, they're going to be like, who cares? You can just leave. But if like 100 people go into a Starbucks,
Starbucks goes out of business because nobody supports
yeah,
them.
if tons of people refuse to go along with that,
That's the only way we get out of this
yeah,
prison.
we cannot be the boiling frogs.
No, you can't just go along with the convenience.
Yeah, it's also convenient. And that is scary because so many people have gotten into this mental state and this complacency that which is also compliancy, where they want everything on their app, on their phone, everything's convenient. They want it all like right now.
And they just go, shut up. You
Yeah,
know what? I don't want to hear.
yeah,
You're such a conspiracy
it's all
theorist.
just easy and
I
convenient.
don't want to hear your conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
okay? You're just an anti-Semite and you're ethnocentric and you're xenophobic.
And
And they have all these words. You're homophobic.
yeah,
Everything is like an attack on you
right,
if you come out and you say this.
right.
So what you have to do is you have to be able to fight against that. You have to
And
say, no, 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 no. You need to understand.
right, and the other problem is like the younger generation has been completely conditioned to just like live this way. Like they kind of don't really even know any other
They
way.
don't care.
Like they all have like a card to pay for something.
Remember when I was during COVID or during cooties?
Yeah.
Remember during cooties, I went into 31 flavors
Yeah.
and I refused to wear the mask. And this little 19-year-old was like, Sir, you need to put your mask on.
Yeah.
And I was like, No, I'm not wearing a mask. I never wear a mask. He goes, Then you gotta leave. And I go, Dude, do you understand you're ushering in tyranny? And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
I don't care.
They don't understand what it means.
They don't care.
No.
So that's one of the biggest dangers.
And they've all been conditioned to, you know, they use a card to pay for and everything. They don't really use cash. So it to them, they don't see the problem in not being able to use cash. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, we didn't have cards. Like we didn't get credit cards till we were like 18.
By
We
the way,
used cash for everything.
who runs Starbucks?
Yeah.
It's some dude from that country from 1948.
That's
So
that's a
so
coincidence.
Starbucks is aligned with the evil.
So they'll be
And
doing
they're
it.
on every corner
Hmm.
and everyone goes. I've never gone by a Starbucks where there wasn't a big line in the drive-thru.
Yeah.
So everyone's using it. Everyone's acquiescing.
And they'll do whatever they say is that they have to do to get their coffee.
I don't know what people need to have happen before they wake up.
Most people need something to happen to them specifically, like personally. It has to
Mhm.
affect their life in some very
But what if it's too late then?
significant way. Well, that's the boiling pot.
You're already boiling
That's
then.
the boiling
You
pot.
can't jump out
Yeah.
anymore. You're dead now.
But a lot of people just don't recognize the problem until it's like some significant thing that's happening in their life that's going to affect them before they want to make a change.
So all of this is an outcropping of Trump going down and kidnapping Maduro and his wife and saying, no, 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 you guys aren't. All of that is symbolic of this colonization that's taken place.
Right.
We are inching closer and closer into one world government, digital currency, which is a full on global prison, no human freedom, and it's tyranny. And what we need to do, white pill, is remember the Constitution, remember the Magna Carta. Each individual has rights. Cities have their own government, counties have their own government, states have their own government. We don't have centralized power, we have decentralized power, we have self determination. We need to maybe have a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
I think that's what people are kind of just sleepwalking into
Mm,
this prison.
yeah.
Anything else on this one? Any other white pills that you prescribe for this one? Because this, you know what, this opens up so many cans of worms.
It totally does. I mean, it's like, okay, if this really did happen, and like Trump really like removed this guy and we're going to take over Venezuela, then, what's the next country to be conquered? It's Greenland, I'm sure. That's what he's talking about.
I
And
think we've been conquered.
and then maybe Mexico.
Mexico already has that one chick from that country from 1948.
Yeah.
And she's
So
like,
they've been conquered already.
they're conquered.
They didn't even like go through us. They just went straight. Like we weren't even the middleman. It's sort of like we're the middleman for this colonization expansion project, right?
I
We're
think they use
we're
our
like the
military
front.
might.
We're the front man.
We're the front man.
Yeah,
And Donald Trump is a salesman.
totally.
So he sells the agenda.
Hmm.
And how does he sell the agenda? He's like this guy that I used to sell copiers with.
Mm.
He goes in and he just lies to the customer. And he goes, no, no,
You need this.
totally. You can scan right to this and you can totally print and do totally. But then they go in, they install it. And then 6 months later, they go, wait, you said I could do this and it's not working.
Y-
Well,
You're like, you're not doing it right.
don't call me because I've moved on to other people I'm scamming.
Yeah.
Trump is like that. Trump says one thing and does another.
Hmm.
You have to, so that's another white pill. Don't get blue pilled by Trump. God bless you.
Thank you.
Don't get blue
Mm.
pilled by Trump because he says one thing and does another. So he comes out and he goes, no, no, kid, we're, um, he goes, nationalism, not globalism, is going to be our credo. Remember he said that?
No, I don't remember that.
So he said that
Hmm.
I think it was during his first term,
Hmm.
but that was what he said. But now he's lining himself up with globalism.
How did he sort of like morph into this? Like he started out like, oh, America first and all this stuff. And, he kind of seemed like he
He
was the
says
answer.
one thing and he does another.
Hmm.
So he came out and I think he blue pilled the Trump base.
Yeah.
They're blue pilled.
So he got them all on board.
Yeah.
And then so you think his MO and his agenda all along was to be the
Remember David
the poster
Goldfinch?
child for that country from 1948?
Yup. He's their boy, and he's been their boy all along since he came down the escalator in 2015. Prior to coming down the escalator, that was all planned. Him coming down the escalator and tweeting out his "I'm run for president,"
Mm-hmm.
that was all orchestrated by that country from 1948, and he's been their boy since then.
Hmm.
And all of this has been a script. Trump is in bed with that country from 1948 and has been from the start. Everything's been a script, but he goes out and he blue pills his base. Like my dad, who just passed away, he loved Trump and
He,
he believed the lies
yeah,
because Trump lies and he gets you blue pilled. So he lies and he gets these people thinking, look at the
he's
wins.
a really good salesman.
Look at the wins.
Hmm.
Look, and all these people just go, "Oh yeah, dude." I still, I saw on Rumble there was this commercial, and this guy comes out and he goes, "Are you excited like I am that we're going out and taking out communism in
Yeah, I
Venezuela?"
saw that
You
too.
know,
Uh-huh.
that's a blue pill.
Hmm.
That means that he has swallowed the lies. So don't be blue pilled by Trump. That's another white pill. Stay pink, understand situational awareness. Let's develop alternative media, alternative economies, alternative healthcare, and then take our countries back. Every country, let's all take our countries back. Singapore, I stand in solidarity with you. You guys are downloading us a lot. Check it out. Take your country back. We can do it. Don't ever feel like it's not doable and give up on it.
Right.
We have to fight for freedom. And remember the American Revolution. The American Revolution was started by 3% of badass dudes with big balls. They said, fuck England.
Mm,
3% of them.
mm.
But then once their cause prevailed, then everybody jumps on board.
Because people are followers
They're
and they want to be
followers.
with the popular crowd.
They're front runners.
Yeah.
You ever notice like when the Lakers are in the championship, you'll drive around and everyone's
Everybody loves them.
they've
Yeah.
got shirts and
Yeah.
stickers and bumper stickers all of a sudden, and
Right.
everyone's like, "Oh, I'm a big Laker fan."
Yeah.
Oh, you suddenly now that they're in the playoffs, but when the Lakers are in last place, it's like, "Well, where's your shirt?"
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Ah! All right. Well, this has been a kind of a long one,
I
but
know.
dude, I can't. As we start going down this rabbit hole, it goes out.
The problem with
This might be the main rabbit hole.
the problem with the rabbit holes are they just lead to other rabbit holes. So we get
Well,
sidetracked.
you know what? I
Well,
think this one might be the main rabbit hole.
well, I
And
don't,
then all of them kind of come off of
you know
this.
what I think is the main rabbit hole?
What?
The shape of our earth.
Oh, you think that?
Yeah.
Well, they're lying.
I
Who's lying?
mean, everything stems from that.
Okay. Well, but see, I think that you people could think that the that we live on a globe, but still understand that that country from 1948 is colonizing us and
Well,
we're
yeah.
free from it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and the thing about like I don't know that if there's a main rabbit hole. I think like it's like a knot and like all the rabbit holes are just sort of like
This one has a lot of them going on,
yeah.
because when you see Trump doing this action, this unprecedented action, it's pointing out one world government. One world government has a lot of different aspects to
Right.
it. And the digital prison has a lot of different aspects to it. We might have to do another episode
Hmm.
where we just talk about one world government
Yeah.
and what are all of the aspects of one world government.
Yeah.
Because, and we could do an episode on flat Earth too.
Well, we have done that, but
We've done that,
we might need to do a
revisit
follow-up.
it, because that's Kool-Aid. What we get told science Kool-Aid all the time.
Yeah,
That's another way that they kind of keep us in this cage.
exactly. I don't want to be in a cage.
No.
I want to be a free butterfly flying all around. I don't want to be caged.
Remember that movie I watched? I can't remember what movie it was. I still got to find out. Where the last scene of the movie shows a bird cage and the doors open and there's no bird in it.
I love it.
And that is a perfect symbol of human freedom.
That is, and I think that's a good symbol for us. I think we need to put that on a t-shirt.
I love
I
that.
love it. Well, that was good.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay, good
Bye.
talking to you.
Bye.